It's time for Real Talk on Forge 103.9, a new sound.
Forge 103.9, a new sound. This is Real Talk. I'm Multimedia Bob, Mr. Matt Munoz over to my left. And Matt, we have an incredible, and you know, I say this for all our guests, right? But when you sent me the one sheet of this man, right? Not only did it didn't have complete sentences. It had a paragraph of just accomplishments, right?
Yes.
It didn't even have like, I've done this. It was just like professional boxer, MMA fighter, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. And then it had dates, 2019, 2020, 2020, a bunch of just championship belts, right?
Hip-hop artist, baby.
Oh, yep. A hip-hop artist, a break dancer, right?
Writer, entrepreneur, bare-knuckle boxer. I mean, and that's just, we're not even done.
And we're not done. But, Matt, let's go ahead and introduce our guest for the day, right?
Yes, we are so excited to announce and welcome JC Llamas to Real Talk. Un aplauso.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me here.
How you doing today, man?
I'm doing amazing, man. I'm doing amazing.
You know, there's so much to start, right? But to cover, but Real Talk, we like to start from where you begin, right? Are you from Bakersfield? Are you born here in Bakersfield?
I'm actually from Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, Mexico.
Okay.
I was raised in San Vicente, Nayarit, like 20 minutes away. And I moved. I was, because of my dancing and music, I was around the world in like 5 different countries. And I ended up in Bakersfield around like 2008, 2009, something like that.
So you were pursuing like music in Mexico when you were younger? That was like your first passion?
Yes, like I think breakdancing and rap was like rap battles. I don't know. Rap battles. I always liked the competition. But when I started dancing, I got opportunity. Like some big choreographer from my company, he saw me dancing and he's like, hey, can you do that in front of 1,000 people, like in a hotel? And I was like, I thought he was just, I don't know, lying to me because it doesn't happen. Like the hometown that I grew up, it was like nothing like that. So I was like, yeah, sure. And then he said, okay, he gave me an address and everything. Show up this day, this location, and we're gonna do an audition for you. And I think you will be perfect for our shows. And he explained me like how the whole thing worked. I didn't believe it, so I didn't go the next day. One reason, I didn't have money to go on the bus. 2, I didn't believe him. The third day, he came the same in the kiosk. It's like a little plaza, and they have a kiosk in there. And he came and asked me, hey, we're waiting for you.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow, so it's real, you know?
Yeah. How old were you at this time?
I think it was like around 14. I think I used to turn around 14. And
so what was that environment that you were, dancing and hanging out? Was it like a barrio? Like,
oh, yeah.
Like everything you'd expect from,
Yeah, like, honestly, my neighborhood was bad. Like, like it was drugs. Somebody get killed almost every other week. And I got robbed like a lot of times. I didn't have any money, so they didn't rob no money. But
you're like, you robbed all the money last week.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like my sandals, my whatever I had, my hats. My hats were the one that took the most. And but the worst thing, it was like half of those people were like my cousins or like people, my family, people like family that wasn't that close to me, but they were in that environment. So it was bad. It was bad. So I was always fighting, not because I wanted to, I had to. So I grew up in like, it was crazy environment, but to me that was normal. Like that was normal.
What about your family? How many are in your family there?
My brother and my grandma. My mom and my dad, they live in separate states. They separated, came back, separated like 100 times. So I was with them like maybe like once a year, sometimes every other 2 years. Sometimes they come and visit us, sometimes they don't. So I grew up with my grandma and my brother.
Your abuelita kept you in line.
Oh, yeah. Like, thanks to her, I'm here. Like, thanks to her, I'm here because even though she didn't have a job or school or things like that, she have like a crazy wisdom that always like kept me in line, like tell me,
kept you in the right direction.
Oh yeah, she whoop us too, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful that she whoop us because if she wouldn't do that, I would end up with like half of my friends in dead or in jail.
Yeah. So do you think breakdancing, when he offered you this opportunity, right, and you were like nah, then you finally started to go, was this like your opportunity out of that area? Yes.
I didn't know it was going to go that well. So me, I just wanted to dance. And even like, okay, it's kind of embarrassing, but we didn't have food, electricity, water, or things like that. So to me, that was an outlet to like at least buy some eggs or some beans or something.
Hey, there's
like
nothing embarrassing about that, man. You were trying to survive, bro.
That's what it was. And
I wish I could dance. I saw we saw your video, man. You were killing it. He's like, which one is? I was like, I don't know. And then you put the helmet on. You were just spinning.
Yeah,
that was it.
Very humble beginnings. Yeah, tell some more.
And so for me, that was like, you know what? I think if I can do the shows, they'll pay me 50 pesos per show. It wasn't that much. It's like $2, $3.
Yeah.
But for me, that was food for like a couple of days for me and my grandma.
Wow. Yeah.
And we didn't have like a job like that. Everything that, whatever, I used to go fishing. I used to go cut mangoes and sell it. Coyules. I don't know if you guys know coyules.
I don't.
It's like a little coconuts that you peel and then you put it with sugar and like some type of sauce.
Yeah.
You put it in bags and you sell it. It's like a dessert.
Oh,
And
okay.
we used to do that. And any fruit that we live in a tropical area, so we have a lot of fruit. The only problem is everybody else too has the same fruits. So a lot of people, they don't buy it because they have it in the backyard. But sometimes whenever it's already peeled and ready to go,
Prepared,
okay,
yeah.
And then some American, like a business owner or some food company comes over here, steals the idea, brings it over to the United States, makes millions, right?
Yeah,
Doesn't it happen like
exactly. We have to go to break, but we'll continue this story right after we play some music. So you don't want to turn that down. This is Real Talk.
Llamas, que yo beats, la familia, no te preocupes, todo saldrá muy bien.
Forge 103.9, a new sound. We are back. This is Real Talk, and we are back in the building with JC Llamas, right? And we were just talking about where he came from, and he came from Mexico, but Puerto Vallarta, right? And you were talking about, just getting the fruits, preparing them, because some people would try to sell them without preparing them, right?
Yeah.
And just to help provide for your grandmother and you. But, you talked about dancing, and it was making you travel across the country and the world, right?
Yes.
So, explain that kind of thing, because remember, you didn't even believe this was going to happen.
Yeah, I thought it was like, boy, my neighborhood, nothing like that happened. So I was like, it was something new for me. So for me, I was like, sometimes we sell fish, fruit, anything that we can.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if I can make a little bit of money dancing, that would be perfect because I love dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So then this guy came back, the choreographer, and he said, well, you know what? We have a show every night at 8 p.m. I think it was 8 p.m. And we have a bus that pass and pick all the dancers, all the animation stuff.
Yeah.
And we take him to the show. And he said, I know where you live because I live like 8 blocks down the street from where you live. So we pass from the bus and we can pick you up tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And take you so you can see the show. So I said, okay, that would be perfect. So the bus came back. And also a friend of mine, Tito, he lived in the corner. I didn't know, but he was a DJ of the hotel.
Oh.
And when I saw him on the bus, I was like, it made me feel like comfortable. I was like, okay, nobody's going to try to kidnap me. Because I was 14, I was still young. And so I asked him, and he told me, oh, no, yeah, it's we do shows every night. I'm the DJ, and he's
What were some of the music that was being played? Because, breakdancing music, to me, when I think of breakdancing, I think of the 80s, because that's where I'm from. So it was like, all that really high-energy breakdancing stuff. But by the time, like I say, your age range, like, what was being played, and what were you guys breakdancing to?
Honestly, break beats from the 80s. Like, honestly, any funk music. But this is the thing. As a break dancer, we adapt to what every beat they play. So something that I guess one of my main thing, it was that if they play a salsa beat, I break dance, and then once in a while I do my salsa move, and then I continue.
Fire!
So yeah, that was something that differentiated me from a lot of the break dancers because they didn't understand the music, and I love music. So if they play salsa, I do salsa. If they play a little break beat and then put like 4 or 5 seconds of tango, I'm doing my break dance and then I act like I'm doing tango. So you were
locking into like beats per minute and just like particular parts of the rhythm that would flow with what you were doing. That's real talent. He already had those instincts.
Being able to switch that on and off is crazy.
A lot of the DJs, they sample like pieces from different songs with the break beats, so to make it look like a new style. But it's the same break beat keeps hitting every snare, right? But they put the tango, the salsa, merengue, the cumbia, something to create like a new, like a new beat. And a lot of break dancers, they use break dance. Me, I kind of knew, or not new, I kind of like, it feels natural to do this.
Yeah.
That's what, and I did that. And in the beginning, people, that was weird. But then eventually they start copying it. And they're like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice. And I guess thanks to that, it helped me like evolve in my neighborhood. So a lot of people start coming to my hometown to battle me from other states, other cities.
Wow.
So it became big. And I started teaching all my friends from my neighborhood. And we start going to different towns to compete. They wasn't paying that much money, but to me, that was food
the
for like a couple days.
competition, right?
What were you known? What was your name back then?
El Poeta.
El Poeta.
El
Oh, the
Poeta.
poet.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's fire. I would have never thought to ask that question, Matt. That is fire.
Yeah, he hasn't always been JC Llamas. Everybody has a name before that.
And the funny thing is, eventually, because something that I guess made my career take faster, it was that I used to try things that people were afraid to do. Like, it was a kiosk and there was like 8 stairs. I used to go run and do like a side flip, backflip, and land on the floor. Or do like a crazy things on the skateboard, like backflip, things like that people would not try right away. And thanks to that, I got hurt a lot.
Oh.
And I got like knee surgeries.
Oh,
I was
wow.
not back then, but eventually like around like 20 something. And then they changed my name to El Poeta Inválido, the handicap poet.
Oh.
Yeah, but not because I used to freestyle and I used to like rap, and I don't know, like whenever I freestyle, I do like kind of like a poetry, like a
spoken word.
a spoken word, but with punchlines. So a lot of people start saying that guy kind of raps like a poet. So they call me the poet, and then eventually I start coming to the kiosk on my wheelchair or my crutches.
Yeah.
Oh, the handicap poet is coming. So
That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool, yeah.
But then I took that name over. Like, I'm not a handicap anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay. And I just left it at JC Llamas, like my name, Juan Carlos
Juan
Llamas.
Carlos
Okay.
Llamas. Okay.
So they call me B-Boy JC or El Poeta or Poeta Inválido.
So how did you end up in Bakersfield?
Okay, whenever I started dancing and I was working for that company, another company like the same thing, hotel company that do shows but bigger.
Wait, hold on. Let me see.
Oh, yeah.
What type of shows were these? Because you say shows, was this like, were you backing up, performing in front of artists, bands, or what were these shows?
In Puerto Vallarta is like a tourist area, and they have a lot of hotels, like all inclusive. And in those hotels, they perform shows for the clients. So they do like break dance. Well, not
like
break
dinner
dance.
shows? Like
Yeah,
they're having
kinda-
dinner and cocktails
yeah.
and like.
Oh, and they were
here we go.
breakdancing at the
All
same
right.
time?
Not really. It wasn't breakdancing. I was the first one doing breakdancing. They used to have like all type of shows. Like they have 14 different shows, and they repeat those 14 shows every 2 weeks. So every week they have a new show, and it's like a merengue, jazz, salsa, cumbia. They try to do breakdancing, but none of the dancers that they have
Could
they
do
knew
it.
breakdancing
Yeah.
because they were more like a professional dancer, people that went to school for that.
Professional, right?
These
Yeah. Well, they were good, but
they're like
they didn't
casinos, like casinos.
Kind of like a
Okay,
casino.
yeah, I
Okay.
can see that where all these were happening,
Yeah.
especially in like Mexico.
Imagine Las Vegas, like the shows that they do in Las Vegas. Like a lot of people watch the show and they have dinner and stuff like that. Similar, but in a hotel in Puerto Vallarta. So they brought me to do just the breakdancing part, and they had a show called Century. And the Century show, they have different styles of dancing, and one of them was breakdancing, and that was my part, like to do the breakdancing. It was like maybe like 10, 12 dancers, but none of them didn't know how to breakdance. They kind of like do hip hop and choreography like that.
Yeah.
And
But-
then you just fly out.
And then, I came and do like there's actually a video there. Like I can do like a backflip, land, and start breakdancing, hex spin, wheel miss. Like
I
a
think
bunch-
we watched that video.
Yeah.
I think we watched that one. I was like, this man can move.
And so whenever I start doing that, they asked me like, "Can you do more than breakdancing?" I was like, "Well, I do Michael Jackson impersonation." So they have a new an entire show of like hour and a half of just Michael Jackson. So they give me like the lyrics of the songs, and then I try to lip
So
sync.
you lip sync.
Yeah.
Lip singing and learning the choreographies of all the shows that they have. And then I started doing Michael Jackson. They asked me, what else can you do? I was like, well, whatever you guys want me to.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn it.
Salsa,
Yeah.
merengue. I started doing all of that. And eventually, like 6-7 months later, I was one of the main dancers for them.
wow.
Without school or anything. I was like the front line. Then like, I don't know, like I think 17, another company asked me if I can work for them. Bigger company, triple the money. So I was like, man, that's good. I would like to do something like that. But I don't want to
Mess with them, yeah.
Yeah.
because they give me an opportunity. And one of the guys there, he was just harassing me like crazy because he was the main dancer, and I came there and I didn't want to take his
spot.
but they asked me to do that, and they were
Yeah.
paying me to do that. And they actually ended up hiring me as animation staff, not just as a dancer, like working with the customers, like doing the kayak tour. I used to teach windsurfing.
Oh, what?
It was part of my job, like teaching like how to surf, the kayak tour, like windsurfing, surfing. Basically anything that they needed me to do, I was able to
do it.
If I didn't know, I learned how to do it, and then I did it. And then I guess like when I turned 17, they offered me that job. Eventually, I got tired of that guy, and I moved to the other company. And 3 times better, they treat me better, and I was bigger. And they offered me, they sell that company to another company called Palladium. And the boss of that company, they're from Italy. And they tell me, we have like around 100 hotels around the world, and we open new ones every year. And the same choreographies that we have here, we have it in all the hotels around the world. And we need somebody like you to teach those choreographies to the new members, to the new animation staff.
Oh, wow.
So every 6 months, they offer me that job. And every 6 months, I'm supposed to go to new hotels with the new activity, animation and dancers to teach them the choreography and also to teach them how to be animation staff. There's something in me that whenever I do any activity with the customers, my activity is full with people, full with customers, having fun, screaming, having a good time.
You became the big draw.
And I think so, maybe something like that. And for the hotels, they want the customers to be doing activities instead of drinking and eating, because it's all inclusive. So the less money that they spend, So, but I didn't know that. I was just doing it because I love having fun, like playing volleyball, soccer, anything. It was packed and crazy.
Did you come across any celebrities?
Yes, a lot of soccer players from UK, from England. Like they always used to go
David Beckham?
No, I didn't meet him, but I met a bunch of like actors as well from Mexico. But mostly it was soccer players, because the hotel, the second hotel that I was working, they have a lot of hotels in Europe. So they were like, I don't know, very like a lot of them, they have like a timeshares.
Yeah.
Oh, so wherever they traveled, they were always there, and that happened to be where they were at. Well, that's cool. Did anybody ever want to breakdance?
I actually met a lot of friends that breakdance. Actually, until right now, I still have connections with some of my friends, Connecticut and Michigan. And this is a funny story, because one guy that I met in the first hotel, like 3 years later, we lost contact and everything. And 3 years later, I met him in the Bahamas.
Oh, you're like all the way in the Bahamas?
I was doing a capoeira class with a lot of the kids from the hotel, like the customers. And I was teaching them how to do capoeira. It's like acrobatics and stuff like that. And then I saw a guy running like far away. And then he can, like whenever I saw him, like, I don't know, like 40, 30 feet away, he started doing backflip. And I was like, I think I know that guy. I was Chris from Michigan. And I was like, oh, man.
What?
And I invited him to the show in the same hotel, and we practiced. We rehearsed that night. We rehearsed that day, and at night we performed, because in that night we were doing a tropical show. And in one of the segments, I do capoeira by myself. So I asked
where is capoeira originate from? Brazil,
Brazil, okay.
Brazil. And so I asked him, dude, that's crazy. Like, because he was, I guess, like he was really good. He was really, really good. And I invited him, and we did the show together. And then I would say like 3 months later, I moved to another country. And I was like that for like 6-7 years.
Oh, wow. You're just moving to country.
How often did you go back to Mexico?
Every time they moved me, I spent like a month or 2 months back home with my family. And so I went from, I supposed to move when I was 17, but my dad and my mom, they didn't live together. I need to get the permission to get my passport.
Oh, okay.
So I had to wait until,
till you're 18?
Until I was 18. As soon as I turned 18, I got my passport, and then let's go.
So did a hotel pop up here in Bakersfield, and that's why you ended up here?
No. I think like around like 24, 23, I was, which country was? I think it was Cuba. No, Bahamas.
That was like, you're in Cuba? Like,
oh, yeah. I was
you're in Mexico. You could just go right there.
Yeah, it's close. It's close by.
You go right there. And
I think I was back in the Bahamas. And my mom called me and said my grandma got sick, very sick, and she got diagnosed with cancer. Oh. So I was like, oh, no. So I told the company that my grandma, she got sick. and I needed to go, and they said, you can't go. You have a contract with us.
Yeah.
And you have like a few more months before you can go. I was like, no. Like, I'm going.
Yeah.
Let me go like a couple weeks and come back. I was like, you can't because we need you. Like, who's going to teach the shows? Who's going to do the shows? Who's going to do this and that? I was like, it's my grandma, man. Like, I'm not going to
like, you guys figure it out. It's not,
So they stopped my visa, so I couldn't travel from the Bahamas to the U.S. I had to find a different route. So I was like, you know what? It's all right. So I took all my stuff. I took a boat to Cuba from the Bahamas.
Wow.
Yeah, and then from Cuba, another boat to Mexico, and then from Mexico, I took a plane to Puerto Vallarta. It took me like 2 days to get back. And after that, I kind of quit doing that. Like,
yeah, because like, why would they do that? You spent years, like, you're a loyal like employee.
Exactly. So I feel like I feel not betrayed, but I feel like that's something wrong. Like, it's my family, you know, and I grew up with her. To me, my grandma is everything. So I quit, I left, and when I got there, I realized that the medicines, they're super expensive. And back in Mexico, there's no such a thing like, oh, we got insurance, we got you. No. Yeah. Everything comes out of your pocket.
Yep. Yeah.
So all the 6-7 years that I was saving, gone in 3 months. And so I told my grandma, hey, I can't afford it here. I have to go to U.S. or somewhere else because
to make some more money.
Yeah, I don't want to lose you. And I was working there at the same time, but I was getting paid like $300 every 2 weeks, like $600 a month, and I was paying like $2,000-3,000 a month in medicine.
Wow!
So I was like,
there's no way. There's no way. Yeah.
So I figure out like where can I go to work and get good money. So then I find out that here in Bakersfield, they had a company called Bright House. I don't know if you're familiar.
Oh, yeah, Bright House
the company.
Cable. Yeah.
Now
But
it's changed to Spectrum.
multimedia.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they pay for your school if you work for them as a technical installer, like to install cable, Ethernet.
Yeah.
They pay to go to school to get fiber optics. And it's like 7, 8 years. No, like 7, 8 years courses that you have to like pass every 6 months. And every course that you pass, you get $1 raise.
Oh,
and
wow.
on top of that, when you get all of it, it's like engineering fiber optics. And you get paid like $50-$60 an hour.
Whew. So you did that?
I did my research. Wow. I was like, I need to go. Of course, I was like,
man, you're a hustler. Who cares about all this? You're just a hustler. When there's a problem, you're like, all right, let's go. You went from the Bahamas to Cuba to Mexico. That's crazy.
Yeah, to losing everything to starting all over again. You know, and always thinking about your family, which is wonderful. Wow.
And but I didn't come right away to Bakersfield. I ended up going to New York first because there was some breakdance competition where they're gonna pay money for.
Did you meet Crazy Legs? You know Crazy?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Rock City Crew, all that.
Oh yeah, I battled with him. We friends, like not like that close, but I battled like at least like 10 times against him and with him. Africa Bambata. Yeah. I made like one of the main reasons I went to New York is to meet the creators of breakdancing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people from the Zulu Kings, like the Mighty Zulu Kings. I'm friends with a lot of them. Lino from Floor Lords, like one of the oldest crews in the world. I actually like break dance with them for like, I don't know, 5-6 months and travel with them and compete. It was nice.
Yeah, they're still out there doing it.
Oh
too,
yeah,
right? The OGs,
they still doing
the OGs of breakdancing.
They still doing it, and but then I realized like I couldn't afford the medicines breakdancing no more. I couldn't. So I was like, I need to move. So I moved to Bakersfield. So I started working. When I went to Bright House, they weren't hiring. So I worked with DirecTV, like what's the name?
Selling the
contractor.
Yeah.
Installing it. And then the moment they opened Bright House,
you jumped.
I went, I got hired, and I think I had to work like 3 months before you can apply for school and get like a good, no sick days, no calling sick, being
probation.
on time, doing good, like a probation time. And then after those 3 months, you have to have like another 3 months of no callbacks. Like if you go fix something and something's wrong, that's a callback. And if you get a certain amount of callbacks, you don't qualify for the school.
Okay.
So I was not calling sick. No, like even if I was sick, I was showing up to work. I worked with them for like 7 years, something like that, and never called sick. Always on time. And
wow.
I got employee of the month, employee of the year, employee of the quarter, employee of the semester like 20-30 times. Wow. And they give me the opportunity to do my course, and we do product tests. And the thing that we're learning, we're actually doing in the field, like fixing this, fixing that, and go to everything that we were learning, we're actually doing it.
Yeah.
But to me, that was like, I need to learn it faster because I can't wait 6-7 years for that. You know?
Yeah. So when you came over here, like, what, your English was already good? I mean, because you're fluent, you're obviously bilingual. Do you just know Spanish, English?
I knew a little bit of English, and every country that I work with, they speak, like, for example, in the Bahamas, a lot of them, the customers, they're from Europe. So a lot of them, they speak Italian.
Yeah.
Because the owners are Italian as well. So I was learning Italian, Portuguese, and English. And
that's wild. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, keep going.
And the funny thing is, I didn't even know I was learning it just because I was surrounded with people. And then I asked one of my friends, how do you say this in Italian? Or how do you say this? And then eventually I start announcing the shows to the customer in like 4 or 5 different languages, French, Italian, Portuguese, because we have a lot of customers sometimes for this specific country, or this specific, like French from Canada, Quebec.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of those, and the MC has to announce the shows, what type of show, what time it start, in the language of the most clients that we have. So a lot of times we didn't have somebody that speak fluent French or Italian. So I just asked them, how do you say this? So I read it, practice, memorize it.
Just to help out,
Exactly. And then I start doing it. Eventually, you just stick with it.
Yeah.
And the same thing with English. My English is still like kind of off here and there, but it was worse back then.
So
sounds great to me.
Yeah, so JC, we talked about, your b-boying, you selling fruit, fish, right? All the way to like you being like the main attraction for hotels across the world. And even to like you moving to Bakersfield and even like New York, right?
Yeah.
So when does fighting come into your life? And we only have a short more amount of time, but kind of explain like how you got into fighting and how you got into, I'll just list off some of your accomplishments, right? You're ranked number 1 in jiu-jitsu for Brazilian jiu-jitsu, black belt no-gi under SJJIF for 2018, 2019, 2020, and 21. That's major, right? 5 times Gracie national champion, and the list goes on. 8 times world champion under SJJIF. Like, these are massive accomplishments, right? When did fighting come into your life, and why is it so big and important now after you've already experienced so much other things?
Well, after I started working with Bright House, I got a call from my mom saying that was like maybe 6-7 years later that they tried to kick my grandma out of the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And don't give him more medicine because we were behind on payments. And even though I was most like 90% of the money that I make, I send it back to them, it wasn't enough. So I asked one of my friends, his name is Paul Gonzalez, but it wasn't my friend and I didn't know him. I went to Stan Cable to his house and I asked him, hey, it's kind of, I don't know if I should say that, but I told him, I installed your cable for free in your grandpa's house, and if you let me borrow $600, I needed $600 to pay off whatever we owe for the medicine. And he's like, man, I don't have any money, man, but there's a fight. Like, I'm a coach, and there's a fight in Eagle Mountain Casino.
Oh, yeah.
And they paying $300 to show, and if you win, they give another $300. And the good thing is, because it's an Indian reservation, you don't need to get like your professional license, your blood or anything. It's professional fighting, but they do everything at the casino. Yeah. Like, because it's an Indian reservation, you don't need all those crazy paperwork and everything. So I said, okay, sign me up. I didn't know how to fight. Like, I wasn't training. I had like 5 months of jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, there's no punching, no kicking, just grappling. So I say, like, okay, so what do I need? And he's like, but you just need to be 170 pounds and show up that day, this time. And I think you need a mouthpiece and gloves and shorts with no pockets. So I started looking online, like, what do I need for MMA fighting? I checked my weight. I was 197. And it was, I think, like a Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday. And I supposed to weigh in on Thursday because the fights are on Friday. So I had to cut 27 pounds in 3.5 days. So I went online, like, had to cut 27 pounds.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. The worst feeling ever. Because I never cut that much weight before. I didn't know how to fight MMA or box. I was doing jiu-jitsu for 5 months. I was a white belt still. And I'm fighting a professional fighter versus a guy named Gabriel Gill. That guy is like, he was undefeated in boxing, undefeated in amateur MMA, undefeated in amateur boxing. He had like 8 years as a professional fighter, but it was his first professional MMA fight. But he already have like 8 years of experience. I didn't have that. Yeah. And then I found out who he was. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to get murdered.
Is $300 really worth it?
I don't know. And, but to me, I had to. Like I asked all my friends, and nobody couldn't lend me $600. I needed $500. But I told them, if you lend me the money next week, I pay you, and I also give you like a commission or something.
Yeah.
Nobody had money. So I was like, okay, that's my only chance. That's my only thing. And so I start cutting weight. I didn't eat for those 3 days. Just a little bit of water just to survive. I passed out like 2-3 times in those 3 days. I was wearing a sauna suit under, pants, sweater, and my uniform on top, and go to work. And before that, like 2-3 hours before work, just go run to cut water weight. And then I almost got fired. I passed out in front of a customer house. I was installed on the cable, like the box, finishing. And then I just fell asleep on the couch. And then one of the customers said, like, she just touched my shoulder. Are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I just closed my eye for a second, and she's like, no, you were there for like 2
couple
minutes.
Hours?
Yeah, like sleeping, I passed out. So she let me, she told my supervisor what happened, and I just told him, no, I'm just tired, man. Like, everything is good. I didn't want to tell him that I was cutting weight and all the stuff.
Yeah.
And my uniform was soaking wet. So I have like 3 uniforms on my band because I was changing every 2 hours. And then my boss told me, like, you can't be doing that. Like, are you on drugs or something? Because I started looking like...
sucked up.
All sucked up, yeah. And I was like, no, I'm okay. Like, I'm just cutting weight. For what? And I didn't want to tell him for fighting because I didn't want to get fired. So I was like, no, just cutting weight, man. Just cutting weight. I started training, so I just want to be in shape, you know? And he's like, okay. Then eventually he found out, but he didn't fire me. He actually loved MMA.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
He's like, as long as you give me some tickets.
Yeah. His name is Art. Art, shout out to Art. And so then eventually I cut the weight. I weighed in. I was 170.6 pounds. So
okay,
I was
perfect.
They give you 1 pound allowance. And then I saw my opponent walking in like a bodybuilder, like buff. Like, I was like, there's no way he's 170. I look like a tweaker right now, like a softy and a skinny, old DC, wobbling, walking to the weigh-ins, and he's walking all buff, like he don't fit in the room. Like, there's no way he's 170. He jumped in the scale, 169. He was 1 pound under than me. I was like, how's that possible? This is the thing. He got like 3 or 4 months to prepare for the fight, but his opponent got injured. So I was his opponent replacement.
Oh.
So and he knew how to
So he had
weight.
training camp. He had everything.
He knew how to fight too.
Yeah, you had Bright House installing. That's it. Like,
the best way to cut weight is with a sauna suit, go in the attic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Run the lines.
Okay.
Go in the attic. So I was soaking wet. I passed out in the attic too. It was hot. It was dangerous. Hot. It was dangerous, yeah. And so I went in. I hydrated. I didn't know how to hydrate. I drank a soda, like a 2-liter soda, a huge hamburger, and a bunch of nasty food that I shouldn't be eating. But I didn't know. I didn't have a coach or somebody
and this is how you eat all the time? Like, this is like...
No, I wasn't eating like that crazy, but to me, that's how you hydrate.
Yeah.
You just got to put a lot of weight back. That's what I thought. And but they didn't tell us you got to put a lot of healthy weight back.
Yeah,
you know, like Pedialyte, potassium, sodium, bananas. And I didn't know. So I started throwing up all night, like, because whenever you don't eat for a certain amount of days and then you put something nasty in your body rejected it and it make you sick. So I was sweating at night, like I was puking. It was bad. Next day, I got to the fight and I started swinging like crazy. I didn't know how to fight. I'm telling you, the fight's online. Like, it's kind of embarrassing to watch it, but I started swinging like crazy. I couldn't lose. I needed to win. So in my head, I was like, I'm going to knock him out. So I'm going to punch so I'm going to knock him out. Doesn't work like that. I started swinging. 30 seconds, I got tired, like super tired. I felt my heart was coming out of my throat. I couldn't breathe. And I guess the adrenaline, the inexperience.
Were you trying to fight like a boxer? Just kind of arms up, just kind of
everything,
jab, everything?
Oh, well, I didn't know what a jab was. I was just swinging like a gangster, like,
like street fight, backyard brawl.
Back in Puerto Vallarta fight. Yeah. That's that. But the guy was so technical, like he just moving, like, and then the good thing, but I think it was God that was helping me. If you see the video, I swing, and I was closing my eyes, and then he throw punches at me, and with my eyes closed, looking down, the punch just passed next to me.
Wow!
And then I dog throwing another punch. he couldn't hit me. He couldn't hit me. And I was landing, and he couldn't hit me. So I was swinging, kicking, my eyes closed, punching, and just keep going at it. And the first round was over. I was done. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get up. I couldn't continue. But a friend of mine, Rodney, well, it wasn't my friend then, he knew what I was fighting. And he's like, bro, do it for your grandma. You got to do it for your grandma. And that gave me like a little extra energy. I got up. Let's do that. I can't lose. Dying, like I was passing out. The worst feeling ever. So I kept going second round. And then he threw a little jab. Boom. Hit me. Cut me open. Huge blood everywhere. Barely. He has heavy hands. Heavy hands. Probably some of the guys that has the most heavy hands that I fought so far. But that was my first fight. So punch me. Blood everywhere. And every time I was doing, like, getting the blood out of my eye, he started swinging at me. So he was smart. I didn't know. So whenever he got close to me, I just started swinging again. I was getting tired, exhausted, and I just hold him to the cage. I don't know how. I pick him up and took him down. The moment I took him down, I landed like 2 nasty elbows right on his jaw, like, pow, pow. And I was about to do more damage. Ring. The time right now was like,
you're about to end it, huh?
It took all my energy to take him down, all of it. And I knew he wasn't going to get up because I had him against the fence. I was on my way on top, and then just landed, and I was holding one hand, and I was doing that. And the time ran out. And then...
was he messed up? Did you mess him up when was he kind of slow to get up?
No, he's
like, no.
He was pissed. He was mad. He's like, I'm gonna get you next round. Basically, that looked like, and he got up like nothing. I was like struggling to get up, like struggling, going to my corner, like wobbling with my legs. You can if you see the video, it's not that I didn't want to get to my corner. It's just I couldn't. I was super tired. And the third round came in, and the guy was fresh, like wasn't even breathing hard. I was with my mouth open, like, and like tired. And then we start fighting again, and then he threw like a nasty uppercut to my body, pow! And then it made me speed my mouthpiece up. And then the referee came and told me, "Wait, stop! If you speed your mouthpiece again, I'm gonna take a point from you."
Oh wow!
And I didn't speed it. Like he almost killed me with a point. So I grabbed my mouthpiece, put it back on, and we start swinging. And I keep punching, and the same thing. Like I think God was helping me because he throw like 300 punches, and he probably landed like 7 or 8. I throw like 300 punches, I probably land like 200. So I was keep going. And then the guy was mad. He's like, come on, let's go. So I started swinging, and then ring, time was up. And then I got to my corner, and then Ronnie and Paul Gonzalez, the guy that got me the fight, he's like, do some push in the middle so you show them you're not tired. I was like,
You're like, no, I'm tired.
I'm tired.
There's no way.
You do the push. So then they got us in the middle, and then in the blue corner, winner by unanimous decision, JC Llamas.
Oh, wow.
Thank God.
It had to have been that takedown, huh?
I think, well, honestly, all the punches that I was landing. Because he wasn't landing them. Like, he was throwing. Like, if you see the video, he's very technical, but he wasn't landing. I was wild, crazy, but I was landing. So I think the accumulation of punches landing and kick, I left his leg, like, bruised up. Like, I throw, like, maybe, like, 20 kicks. I landed 19 kicks.
Okay. Do you think any of your breakdancing, all that dancing, because that has a lot to do with the coordination and your flexibility and moving around, dodging. Do you think that had anything to do with it?
I think that had everything to do with it because an average person will not be able to defeat a professional MMA fighter without experience. So I think thanks to all my breakdancing, my street fighting, all my sports, playing soccer, all that stuff, it gave me a little bit of help. But if you never fight before, don't fight like that. Don't do that. It's the worst thing you can do. You can get hurt. Eventually, I learned how to eat right. Also, the hydration. That's the most important thing. Like, you got to hydrate right when you eat. When you cut weight, you got to recover it right. I didn't have guidance. Now I know. I did my homework now. I know how to do it. And all those are contributing factors to make your performance better.
Could you imagine if they had Mortal Kombat and then they had JC Llamas, but it's all. And in this corner, El Poeta is, and he comes out, poof, and he's all spinning like break dancing.
That'd be fire. You know, JC, we went through a bunch of your stories, and we haven't even scratched the surface, but we've ran out of time, unfortunately. But there's a couple things we want to do before we go, right? I know you have a gym out here in Bakersfield, right? Talk to us about it, and if someone wants to sign up or go to your gym, how do they get to do that?
Well, we have a gym where we teach boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, dance lessons, guitar lessons, piano lessons, and music production.
Nice.
What?
Break dancing?
Actually, sometimes I do teach it.
Nice.
But I have 2 instructors that teach hip-hop and like cumbia, merengue, Latin dance.
Oh, wow.
But sometimes I get customers that ask me, hey, can you teach me a little bit of break dance? I don't dance no more like that. But I still dance once in a while.
But breakdancing is in the Olympics now.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Yes.
It
Now,
is.
hey, now you can become an Olympic coach.
I can do that. I can do that.
No, we don't have enough room on this paper for all your accomplishments, man.
So we teach all those activities in our location, and I also just created a non-profit where we helping like families from our community, kids with depression, things, people that need help with like socializing or just need a new outlet to find friends.
Those
or
are all
like
great activities.
To learn a new skill like piano, guitar, like that can make a career for you, you know? So we have the nonprofit where we helping people, and it can be anybody. You just give us a call, go to a gym. We do a little, I guess like an interview about who you are, and we put you in the program. Our location is in 2505 Alta Vista Drive. The phone number is 2505 Alta Vista Drive, 2505 Alta Vista Drive, that's the location, and the phone number is 661-369-2661. And you can find us in all social media, Llamas Competition Team. Or you can follow me, JC Llamas, in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Grindr. I'm just kidding.
No, not Grindr. I mean, if it's on Grindr, that's perfect. You know, that's a good marketing strategy. We don't judge. And I've never been on that app.
But I say the nearest cross street, if you're from Bakersfield, it's Alta Vista and Columbus. Columbus is the nearest main cross street.
Okay.
Because I've driven by there, and you'll see the beautiful, it's an amazing mural of JC, all pumped right here. He's got all his belts. He's got everything. And it says JC Llamas right there. So you'll know you're at the right place because I've driven by it many times on my way to the Bluffs to go. So you can find it. And I'll be posting up on all our socials.
Yep. And JC, you know, there's one thing that you talked about a little bit, and especially in your gym, the production, the music production, right? You're a musician yourself. So before we go, we have to play a song. And you sent us a list of songs. And one of my favorites was Don't Worry, right?
Don't Worry.
And I know it said featured by KO Beats, who's local, right?
Yeah, a friend of mine, KO Beats. We made a whole album together.
Oh, wow.
He produced a lot of the beats for the album, and we did maybe 5-6 songs together in the album.
JC Llamas, KO Beats, la familia. No te preocupes, todo saldrá muy bien.
Vamos a bailar esta noche, vamos a gozar esta noche, mami tú y yo, so baby don't worry, just be happy, oh baby don't worry, just be happy, La noche es larga, el momento es corto, si tú me abrazas yo bien me porto, baby don't worry, just be happy, Necesita momento a sola, mi cuerpo siempre tú descontrola. Cuando baila tú me ilusiona, baby don't worry. Vamos a bailar esta noche, vamos a gozar esta noche, mami tú y yo, so baby don't worry, just be happy, oh baby don't worry, just be happy, Vente mamacita, vamos a bailar, toda la noche vamos a gozar.